What is up, YouTube? It's your boy, the Caster, and finally, I am back. It's been quite the break, I can tell you, but I'm back. And I actually have a good working schedule planned in terms of Dokkan content. But enough about that. Today, we're going to focus on team building guys for the upcoming Realm of Gods Super Battle Road Extreme Super Battle Road stage. Now, I wanted to focus on this one particularly because this one was the hardest one originally. So I do think for a lot of players, especially free to play players, this will be a struggle again because just how it's set up, four enemies, multiple enemies per fight. I mean, the first one has five, so multiple chances to die every turn because of the power of super attacks. So it's very important that when we tackle this stage to consider people's boxes and also what units thrive in this type of environment. Now, when I look through the list of units for Realm of Gods, let's just go to the Realm of Gods team quickly. When I look at the list of units for this category, I've discovered that not a lot of them are actually very good when it comes to being in slot one. I mean, these guys don't count because they're not on global yet. They'll only arrive in July, and when they do come out, they'll actually, when you pull them, they'll actually make the stage very very easy for you. A unit that I forgot to consider is the LR Goku, but I don't really want to consider LRs too much, is because, especially yellow coin ones, because LRs in general very very hard to pull in this game, especially if you're saving for the hype banners. So, if you take a quick glance at the category, not a lot of units pop out that can actually be slot one units. I mean, Tech doesn't even have one that I can think of. I mean, maybe Jiren, but Jiren does take a lot of damage. This guy is actually good, slot one, but we'll get into it. She's quite good. After Ize, he should be good, but again, that's on JP, so we can't worry about that. STR, this guy is good. We'll get into that. This guy is very good. We'll get into that. So, there are options we can use. I mean, this guy is good, but he's again Japanese only. So, when you go back to the stage, it's very important to consider that fact when you're building a team. So, when it comes to the team builder that I've set up, now let me just put Goku in. I forgot to put him in, which was I don't own him, so my mind really doesn't. Pardon the mess here, but I tried to move the links. But anyway, so when it comes to building this teams for this one, I generally now there's two ways you can do this. Two schools of thought. You can go with a UI Goku led team, but that's assuming you have him, or you can go with a Beerus led team, which assumes of course you have him. Now let's say you don't have both. We still have AGL Zamasu, who's still pretty good. Um, I say pretty good, but defensively he can be he can be a bit left wanting. And then lastly we have the OG Ultra Instinct Goku, who can help when he transforms, but we all know what his deal is. His 70% chance translates to 1% for a lot of players. So there's four leaders you can work with. Now the two at the bottom are generally if you don't have the two at the top. Now I would personally recommend Beerus because of the stats buff, but UI Goku works just as fine, especially with the four key leader skill if you look on the left hand side of the screen. So UI Goku or Beerus as your leader is good enough to get the job done. Now I do recommend Beerus because even though he'll take damage for the first hit. Once he gets his defense going, he's actually quite tanky, especially with items. I am talking about using items. There's no way I'll recommend no item run. We're not those guys. We know them, those guys. Anyway, so after we're done with leads, now generally high in your priority list which should be these two right here, Whis and Vados. They're very good when it comes to super battle stages in general. I mean, they both seal on super attack, and they also both lower attack, and they also have high chances to dodge. Vados having a high chance actually, and then Whis having 70% chance. So they're very very good when it comes to the stage. Now, when they actually hit, they do take some damage, but it's not like critical. as some of the units you see, like this guy. Bro, if you bring this guy to the stage, you deserve to lose. I mean, defensively, he's not it when it comes to tanking hits, especially since he builds up. So, as we move on, Super Saiyan God Goku is actually the next unit I would recommend for this team, specifically because he also has that 50% dodge. So you have a really nice dodge core with, especially of UI Goku. And the last dodge I recommend is this guy right here. He also has a 50% chance to dodge, if I believe. I don't have him, so I don't really know how his I don't know how he works. Let's just pull him up quickly. So we've got the Kibito Kai, Kibito and Supreme Kai, who transforms into Kibito Kai. So yes, he does have a high chance, 50% of evading enemies' attacks. So you really have a nice dodge core, and he does so much. I mean, he dodges, he lowers attack, he stuns. I believe it's 50% high chance, 50% for 2 turns. Then when he transforms, when he fuses, I do believe he's also got, so he seals on super and then a guaranteed stun for 2 turns. So when it comes to building for this, you've got a nice core of dodging units right there. I mean, when you get the dodges off, I mean 0 damage right there, and then we also have a stunner and 2 and 3 sealers. And when it comes to Super Battle, it's very important, in my opinion, that you have at least 1 or 2 units that can seal or stun. Seals and stuns are so powerful in Super Battle. If you don't have access to them, the run becomes exponentially harder, especially just relying on pure defense alone. So, moving on, the last unit I would recommend personally is the blue Goku's right here. I mean, this guy offers defense to that entire rotation because this is a super class team setup unless you have Zamasu as leader. But generally, he offers high defense and is very good when he faces extreme units. I don't think he faces in, yeah. There's a couple. These two are extreme. This guy is extreme, and then so he's not at his peak performance. Sorry about that. He's not at his peak performance in this stage, but he can still help you get the job done, I do believe. And then this blue Goku is just absolutely phenomenal. I mean, his EZA. Let's just pull up his EZA quickly, just so we can see how much of a buff and how incredible he is. Please don't be slow today. Like, I rebooted you. Thank you. Let's just take a look at this guy. I really want to highlight this guy because not a lot of people have had time to play with this unit on the global side. So when you have an extreme Z awaken, of course, so he raises defense. I think it's 20%, 30%, sorry, and then he's got defense. So he's a slot 2 or 3 unit. But then what's very nice is that he's just a strong overall unit. He does give a slight attack buff, but what's very important that he actually does have high stats. Now he won't be a supreme tank, but I mean he's a very good unit overall. Lastly, some fringe units who I do think will help. Now, some people would like to bring the blue fusions and this guy. Now, I actually don't recommend this guy right here because, I mean, having one key link that's Tournament of Power to me is just trash. For this team, he's not. You have to support him, and Super Barrel does not afford you that opportunity to support a unit. So it's very important that you keep that in mind. I mean, he's still good. I'm not discrediting them as a unit, but I'm discouraging using him because of his poor link set with regards to this team. Now, if the 6-year anniversary allows were out, that would be a different story. But right now, I wouldn't recommend him. So who else? So the blue fusions are really, some people are high up on their radar, and they can help you get the job done. I mean, in slot 3 they give you 50%, and I do recommend put them in slot 3 because they have that high chance to dodge. But it's a bit tricky with them because once they do get hit, they will take I think they'll take 100k minimum, even at the rainbow level. So it's a bit of a gamble bringing this guy. One of the guys who can help is I forgot Gawasu and Zamasu. They're very good, and also part of this Ramgal is a very nice core of dodges, so it's very important you consider that. Now, he's actually helpful because he actually also provides ki, and that can be helpful when you're combining these Saiyans with these deities right here. So it's very important to consider that. Also, Supreme Opie of Time is very good also when it comes to Super Battle Road. So just some fringe options that I decided to include. So we've got Vegito Blue, who's very good offensively and decent defensively, but he can struggle in slot one. Do keep that in mind. I mean, some people do get tempted when they see a bajillion attacks in the first slot and think, oh, let's just put Vegito Blue in front. He'll just counter everything to death. And then you cower in fear as you just sit behind in the corner and cower in fear that he doesn't take a super attack. And when he inevitably does and takes 400k damage, you'll understand why he's a fringe option, in my opinion. Zamasu needs help. Not necessarily in terms of of not just in terms of his defense, but also linking partners. I mean, his main key link is fear and faith, I do believe. Let's just check. Do they show keys here? No, they don't. His main key link is fear and faith, and not a lot of villains are actually good for this stage. Like the Goku, this guy would be good, but he also needs support. And one of the things you must keep in mind with SBR is that you're not afforded the chance to support. I mean, sometimes you are, but most of the time, it's not going to work out for you. I mean, this guy can help, but he'll take a lot of damage. I mean, this guy, oh my goodness, he'll take way too much damage. This guy also. So, a lot of the extreme side. Let's just pull up the extreme side. A lot of the extreme side of Realm of God is not good defensively for this stage. I mean, you've got this guy who can be good, but he needs to build up. And who else? This guy also needs to build up. So the villain side a bit lacking on the capabilities of actually taking down the stage. Now the last unit I wanted to focus on particularly, and I actually want to pull her up because I do think she's a very severely underrated unit when it comes to people choices that they have for Super Battle Road. We've got West Kai. Oh, the West Kai. One ability people seem to forget is that she actually has she actually can guard all attacks, but she works like Beerus, where the first attack is scary, but then after that she can tank. 140% attack and defense, greatly raises attack and defense. So she's actually a sleeper option. She's a dark horse that can help you, especially since she's got some of these links like Shocking Speed, Godly Power, Innocence, Fierce Battle, links that actually work and help on this team. So, especially if you're going with the god setup of just using Whis, this guy. If you're using that setup, then she's very helpful. Unfortunately, she doesn't give key. If she gave key, I would say, bro, if you're not using her, there's something wrong with you. But that is it for this video, guys. Something to keep in mind is that it's not an extensive guide. It's more of a guide, especially geared towards free-to-play players. That's why I have so many options up there. I mean, of course, if you have a lot of the big-time units like UI Goku, Beerus, Whis, all of these guys duped up and everything, it shouldn't be a struggle for you. But it's generally some angles to consider when it comes to SBR, Extreme Super Battle. But guys, even if it's too tough for you to handle, that's no big deal. I mean, Super Battle Road is a stage. It's not meant to be taken down the minute it comes out. All of these stages. I mean, you can look at the OG 10 stages with extreme tech. I mean, those stages were brutal. But then as time went on, I mean, extreme techs become easier because of certain units that came out, like DKP, like the Frieza and Sorbet, and then NGL. I mean, Pycon just. I mean, there's no item runs using Pycon, so I mean, it's not something to worry about. That, oh my goodness, my box is not ready. I mean, you've got 2 units coming up in July, over which you've got a decent chance of pulling, with regards to like discounts, tickets, if you're smart with your stones, of course. Yes, 2 units we can El Supreme. I mean, this guy and this guy. I mean, You put them on in Super Power Road against these units, and they'll steal the show. But that is it for the video, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you like what you see, you can drop a comment down below on suggestions on how you can do this format of videos. And as I go, guys, I want to thank you again for tuning in. Can't say that enough. I'll see you guys for the next Dokkan Battle video. Maybe in 8 months. Joking. Thank you very much.